The parable opens with a stark contrast between two men. The rich man, who remains unnamed, lived a life of anaselgeia, literally in indulgence, and was dressed in purple and fine linen. In the ancient world, purple dye was immensely costly, extracted from sea-snails, and served as a symbol of nobility. Conversely, Lazarus, whose name means God helps, lay at the rich man's gate covered in sores. His state was so destitute that even the unclean dogs came to lick his wounds, symbolizing his absolute marginalization and abandonment by human society. Interestingly, Lazarus is the only character in any of Jesus' parables to be given a proper name, which has led some historical figures like St. Jerome to suggest this may have been a literal historical event rather than a fictional story. The turning point occurs when both men die. Lazarus is carried by angels to Abraham's bosom, a place of solace, while the rich man ends up in Hades, where he is in agony. In this state of torment, the rich man lifts his eyes, a Hebrew idiom for simply looking, and sees Abraham far away. He begs for a drop of water to cool his tongue, but Abraham reminds him that a great chasm has been fixed between them, making it impossible to cross from one side to the other. What exactly is Abraham's bosom? While many assume it is heaven, early theologians like Hippolytus argued that it was actually a blessed section of Hades or Sheol. In this view, Sheol was an underground region where both the righteous and unrighteous were detained, separated by a gulf. To be in Abraham's bosom was synonymous with being gathered to one's fathers, a phrase used throughout the Old Testament to describe the righteous awaiting resurrection. Why was the rich man punished? It wasn't just his wealth, it was his failure of moral duty. Viewed through the lens of Kantian ethics, the rich man violated the humanity formula by treating Lazarus as a means to his own comfort, or ignoring him entirely rather than an end in himself. He failed the duty of compassion, or splagnizomai, and ignored the biblical commandment of Sedaka, which defines righteousness as providing justice for the poor. This ethical neglect has modern implications, with scholars using this parable to critique corrupt politicians or leaders whose lavish lifestyles stand in contrast to the 56% of the population living below the poverty line. Like the rich man, leaders who prioritize material accumulation over the welfare of the marginalized face a crisis of moral accountability. Did you know this story might have even older roots? Some scholars suggest the basic plot was derived from an Egyptian folktale about Se-Osiris, which also features a reversal of fortunes after death. Centuries later, this parable likely inspired Charles Dickens to write A Christmas Carol. In Dickens's version, the rich man, Scrooge, gets the second chance that the rich man in the parable was denied. The parable ends with the rich man begging Abraham to send Lazarus back to warn his 5 brothers. Abraham's response is chilling. If they do not listen to Moses and the prophets, they will not be convinced even if someone rises from the dead. This serves as a final reminder that ethical living must be grounded in the moral duties we already know, rather than waiting for extraordinary signs. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the parables of Jesus.